Hi, Film Plot Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain an action sci-fi and thriller film called Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the hallways of a research facility, Ron, a janitor, listens to a song and dances while he mops the floors. As he enters a laboratory, the assigned scientist goes on a break to get a snack from a vending machine. While Ron's cleaning the area, a covered section of the room sparks his curiosity. Behind the tarp is a patient, and as Ron inspects him, the man suddenly moves and makes Ron accidentally disable his life support. Afraid of the consequence, Ron takes matters into his own hands and gets on top of the patient to do CPR. By the vending machine, the scientist encounters a problem of equal importance: his talkies gets stuck. Because the chest compressions don't work, Ron has no choice but to perform mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Disgusted by the patient's rotten mouth, he feeds him a pack of Tic Tacs but still doesn't go through with it. Feeling hopeless, he presses down with even greater strength, rupturing the patient's abdomen. Unfortunately, the patient is revealed to be a zombie when his eyes open. Scared for his life, the janitor tries to escape but trips and falls. Meanwhile, the scientist has no idea of the horrors happening behind him. Severely injured, Ron tries to get the scientist's attention but gets caught by the zombie. While the scientist reaches for his talkies, the janitor, now turned into a zombie, attacks him. Meanwhile, Scout leader Rogers plays a video showing how fun it is to be a scout. It's recruitment day, and the only student who has decided to attend their orientation immediately leaves. A scout named Carter accepts that no one wants to join the scouts anymore, but Augie thinks otherwise. However, Ben agrees with Carter, saying it's a waste of time. Despite the rough start, leader Rogers tries to cheer up the boys since Augie will receive a prestigious badge. He then assigns them their duties for their campout the night before ending the meeting by reciting the scouts' honor. In Ben's car, he and Carter talk about their plans to leave the scouts and how they'll break the news to Augie. With junior year coming up, they don't want to be a scout anymore. But, they're hesitant to tell their friend about it as Augie might think they're abandoning him. As they talk about the girls they can get during junior year, they accidentally hit a deer. Curious, they exit the vehicle to look at it, and soon, Ben walks back to the car to assess its damage while Carter takes a selfie with the dead animal. Moments after, while Ben changes his flat tire, Carter's sister, Kendall, coincidentally arrives. Kendall walks up to them, leaving Ben completely mesmerized. However, Kendall's boyfriend, Jeff, ruins the moment by throwing a football at his face. Then, Ben tells them about the accident while Carter awkwardly flirts with her sister's friend, Chloe. Kendall has known Ben since they were children, and she treats him like a little brother. Ben then talks to Kendall about the deer before pointing to where it was before. However, to his surprise, the deer is gone, and only its bloodstains are left. Later on, Jeff says he'll see them at the party that night. As soon as they leave, Carter unleashes his excitement, telling Ben they got invited to the senior party. Despite the exciting news, Ben's mind is elsewhere as the missing deer leaves him feeling troubled. Since they have a ceremony to attend in the evening, Ben hesitates to go to the party. Because of this, Carter proposes that they leave once Rogers and Augie are asleep and return in the morning, making Ben eventually agree. Out in the woods, Rogers comes across the scientist's ID from the laboratory near the area. He then hears an odd noise in the bushes, and as he goes to look, a deer pops out and attacks him. Fortunately, Rogers kills the deer with his lucky knife, losing his wig in the process. However, seconds after, the zombie scientist sneaks up to Rogers and bites his neck, making him drop his lucky knife. At a liquor store, Carter asks a beggar to buy beer for him and Ben. While they wait, a woman named Denise enters the store. She's famous for dropping out of school and allegedly becoming an exotic dancer at the club across the street. Notices that the beggar is not buying what he wants, forcing him to go inside. While Carter confronts the beggar, Denise exits the store but then drops her worn-down bag. Making use of his expertise with knots, Ben fixes her bag's straps. Grateful, Denise returns the favor by buying them bottles of beer. Later that afternoon, Ben and Carter meet up with Augie in the woods. He's never late. Augie assumes that spending the night without supervision is some sort of a final test. As the three of them set up the tent and all the camping necessities, they show how great their friendship is throughout the afternoon. At the party, Jeff and Kendall greet Chloe. Worried, Kendall asks them if they have seen Carter, to which they reply that they haven't. After saying this, Jeff and Chloe share a sinister glance, hinting they did something malicious. After an evening of eating s'mores and exchanging stories, the three scouts eventually fall asleep. Then, in the middle of the night, Carter wakes Ben up to go to the party. On their way to the car, the two come across the lucky knife Rogers dropped. Ben once again feels reluctant to go, but Carter further convinces him. As they start the car, the headlights turn on, revealing Augie and his disappointed face. Augie knows about the party, and the tense situation pushes Carter to confess their plan to leave the scouts. With his closest friends turning their backs on him, Augie does the same and leaves without a word. Ben tries to reason out with him but gets completely ignored. As they drive through the town, Ben finds it weird that the streets are empty. Despite Ben's suspicion, they decide to change by the liquor store, where Ben notices that the door has been smashed. On the other hand, Carter sees that the exotic club's bouncer has gone missing and invites Ben to come inside with him. When Carter leaves to get some money from the ATM, Ben finds a seat and gets surprised when a woman slowly walks up to the pole. Not looking normal, she dances first before preparing to bite Ben, but Carter showers her with dollar bills just in time. Even though they notice her odd appearance, they assume it's part of the experience. As the dancer hangs upside down the pole, the blood from her neck wound suddenly squirts to Carter, and the zombie bouncer barges in. He chases after the two, making them split up. Carter ends up behind the bar and Ben inside the restroom. The bouncer opens each stall while Ben hides in the last stall, awaiting his doom. As the bouncer opens Ben's stall, his head explodes as Denise comes to the rescue with a shotgun. In the main room, Carter gets pinned to the ground by the other zombie. With a broken bottle, he stabs it and accidentally lets its blood pour all over him. Ben and Denise then come out from the restroom, and as the boys hysterically discuss what's happening, they realize that Denise is actually a cocktail waitress. Meanwhile, Augie visits Scout Leader Roger's house. Seeing that no one is home, he enters the living room. At the club, Denise tries explaining to the boys what's happening before shooting a zombie in the head to show them how to kill one. Then, they rush to the car to avoid a zombie horde. However, as they're about to leave, a wheel detaches, forcing them to stop to change the tire. While Denise holds the zombies off, the scouts manage to attach the tire, and they barely escape a zombie that chases them on all fours. At the same time, Augie eats snack bars in Roger's kitchen while writing him a note. Suddenly, he feels a disturbance in his stomach, so he decides to relieve himself. A zombie reaches for Augie in the bathroom through an open window, but he bends forward just in time to pull his pants up. Afterward, he returns to the kitchen and sees zombie Rogers. Roger steps closer and reveals his pale skin and mangled neck, terrifying and confusing Augie. Then, he chases Augie throughout the living room and into the basement, where Augie falls down the stairs. With a can of flammable spray and a lighter, Augie torches Rogers and knocks him out with a paddle. Later on, Augie ties up Rogers before leaving, unaware that he has broken free. In a police station, Ben, Carter, and Denise find out that the town has been evacuated. Seeing the zombie horde approaching them, they immediately take shelter inside, where Ben and Carter help each other in killing a zombie cop. They then enter a cell and accidentally lock themselves in when the zombies flood the station, leaving them trapped. While Carter takes a nap, Ben finishes his makeshift spear. Suddenly, a song plays loudly in the distance, luring all the zombies out and giving Ben a chance to get the keys. Outside, Augie is revealed to be the one who put the song on. As he tries to sneak past all the zombies, he accidentally sets off another car's alarm, attracting their attention. Back inside, Ben hooks the keys with the modified spear but drops them. To make things worse, Augie arrives and unknowingly kicks it into a drain pipe. Unable to reach the keys, Augie lockpicks the cell while a zombie sneaks up behind him, who gets stabbed by Ben. As the four escapes, Carter closes the gate behind them, trapping a policewoman. The buttons on her tight shirt give up, exposing her chest. Hypnotized, Carter steals a necessary squeeze before leaving. On the road, Denise and the three scouts meet a lone zombie. After noticing the Britney Spears branding on the zombie's shirt, Augie begins singing Britney's song to confuse it. By some miracle, the zombie sings, too, but then it gets shot in the head by a soldier, ending their fun. In his vehicle, the soldier informs them that the military has put the town on lockdown. Upon hearing this, Ben asks if the people at the party have been evacuated, but the soldier has no idea what he's talking about. Concurrently, outside the venue of the party, a zombie is seen making its way inside. On the other side of town, the group arrives at the address Jeff gave Carter and realizes they've been misled. Augie mocks them for ditching him earlier, and as the argument escalates, they begin fighting like kids. Unamused, Denise watches their childish behavior before realizing that the soldier has turned into a zombie. Shouting and fighting for dear life, Denise alerts the scouts, and they rush to help. After the struggle, Denise repeatedly crushes the soldier's head with the vehicle door, killing him. Suddenly, the radio receives a transmission from the military. They can hear the announcement but can't use the radio to respond. Without a way to communicate, the military will bomb the town with them still there. Now that the stakes are known, they must save Kendall. But first, they have to get her diary, where she jots down every detail of her life and perhaps, the party's location. After some driving, the group arrives at Carter's home and quickly searches Kendall's room for her diary. Meanwhile, an infected neighbor sneaks inside the house, which immediately Ben hears. He then tells Augie and Carter to check downstairs, and the two reluctantly go. Alone with Ben, Denise sees Kendall's picture, commenting on how attractive she is. Despite his intense attraction to Kendall, Ben is too much of a coward to confess, so, to give him an ounce of confidence, Denise offers to kiss him. As he leans in, he accidentally headbutts her. They also fail to notice a zombie jumping on a trampoline outside, for they are busy kissing each other. Now satisfied, Denise advises Ben to do the same to Kendall. Downstairs, Carter locks the open door, unaware of the zombie that got in. As they're about to return upstairs, the zombie attacks Carter, and all his shouting attracts the zombies outside. After getting hit by Augie, the zombie loses her dentures, Another zombie then breaks in and pins Augie to the floor while Carter is held down by his zombie neighbor. She pulls down his pants and gnaws on his behind, unable to bite because she has no teeth. At the same time, Augie eliminates his opponent by piercing its head with a metal rod. Then, Augie helps Carter behead the other zombie. When more zombies come in, the group is forced to lock themselves in Kendall's room. Little by little, the door gets broken down, pushing Carter to jump on the trampoline to get to the other side of the fence. After Denise follows, Augie does the same, but before Ben jumps, he sees Kendall's diary falling out of her drawer. Ben then retrieves it but can't jump as a group of zombies now occupy the trampoline. Unfortunately, a zombie grabs Ben, forcing him to take hold of the undead man's private part. Stretchable and durable, the junk keeps Ben from falling. Upon seeing this, Denise lures the zombies away as the zombie's private part rips, and Ben gets propelled to the other side. He then throws the severed junk right into the mouth of another zombie. Now that they have the diary, they make their way to a neighbor's house to find a vehicle. There, they meet the neighbor's zombie cat, which has latched itself on Augie's back. Denise then smacks it off of Augie, but more cats appear from the shadows. Fearing for their lives, the group flees and manages to reach the garage and get in the neighbor's car. After Ben reverses through the garage door, they're met by Scout Leader Rogers on the road, who Ben runs over. After learning where the party is, Ben says his goodbyes to Denise, thanking her for everything. Denise then promises to try and get help before leaving on an abandoned motorcycle. Afterward, then, Carter and Augie head to a hardware store to equip themselves with all sorts of tools they can use to kill zombies. At the party, Chloe and her boyfriend, Travis, head to a secluded area. There, she allows him to pleasure her while she watches videos on her phone. Unbeknownst to them, a jawless zombie lurks in the shadows. The zombie then mauls Travis and takes his place in giving his girlfriend a good time before killing her. Back at the party, Kendall remains worried about her brother and rejects Jeff's advances. Jeff then arrogantly reveals that he gave Carter the wrong address, infuriating Kendall. She slaps her boyfriend, and to her surprise, he pushes her back. For an even bigger surprise, an infected Chloe attacks Jeff and sees Kendall flee. Before she can leave, a horde of zombies intercepts her, and they flood into the dance floor. Afraid, Kendall manages to climb a ladder, where a zombie waits for her at the top. While everything turns to chaos, a loud whistle gets everyone's attention. The scouts proudly make their grand entrance, and with the weapons they brought, they get rid of the flesh eaters. Ben kills a zombie with a grass cutter, Carter eliminates some with his makeshift nail gun crossbow, and Augie kills 3 zombies with a single shot using his ball shooting gun. Then, Carter regrettably shoots Chloe with his nail gun, but at least he can tell people he nailed her. Amidst the chaos, Ben sees Jeff and eagerly decapitates him. Ben then tries to help Kendall as she screams, but a zombie rushes at him. Luckily, Carter and Augie work together to save him. After saving Kendall, they leave the survivors out. Ben then orders Kendall to leave with the rest while he and the scouts stay to hold the zombies off. With zombies following, the scouts lock themselves in a basketball court without a way out. Feeling hopeless, Augie shows them the bomb he made, which they plan to use so they won't turn into zombies. Before lighting the bomb, Ben says his final goodbye and tells the group that he loved being a scout because it's how their friendship started, and he wouldn't trade that for the world. But then, Augie struggles to light the bomb and makes his friends nervous. Fortunately, the combined efforts of their speech and the lighter not working give Denise enough time to save them. She then leads them to a garbage chute, and as Carter goes down the hatch, the court door breaks down. In the nick of time, Augie lights the explosive and follows Ben down the chute as the bomb explodes. As the group rejoices, they see Scout Leader Rogers, still alive somehow, hobbling towards them. Suddenly, a grenade is thrown near his feet and blows him up to bits. Not long after, the military finally arrives to save them. The following day, the evacuation commences, and the injured people get treated. While Ben thanks Denise for saving them, she urges him to approach Kendall. With his newfound confidence, Ben walks up to Kendall and kisses her, leaving Augie cheering and Carter frowning.